In this lecture, we will take our calculations a step further. Okay, so till now we have seen how angular forces act, how a uniformly distributed load acts, how to find the point of maximum bending moment, right? All these things we have seen. Now we will put all those concepts together in this sum, right? So see, in this sum, there is a force at an angle 15 kilonewton, which is at an angle of 60 degree. There is a uniformly distributed load of 3 kilonewton per meter, right? So both these things we will include in our sum. So first of all, it will be divided into two parts, a left side diagram, right side calculations. So we will draw the left side first. Remember, all these diagrams have to be drawn with pencil, not with pen. So first of all, we will draw the diagram from the question as it is, right? We will have to draw it just as it is. So here it is 6 kilonewton. Here there is 10 kilonewton. Here we have 3 kilonewton per meter. This length is 5 meters. Over here we have 15 kilonewton of force, which is at an angle of what? Which is at an angle of 60 degree. Here we have 3 meter, here we have 2 meter, and here also 2 meter, right? So we have all these forces. What will be the reaction forces? The reaction force at A, because A is a hinge joint, it can provide both force in Y direction also and force in X direction also, right? So we can consider both. Right now we are not concerned with axial forces. In the next sum that we will solve, I will also introduce to you. Okay, we will introduce the concept of axial forces in this sum also. Only. Okay, what are axial forces? See, till now what is the diagram that we have been drawing? We have been drawing SFD, shear force diagram, right? So shear force diagram is what? Shear force diagram. Shear force are the vertical forces. So shear forces are what? Shear force are the vertical forces. Axial force diagram means what? Axial means what? Along the axis. See, this is your rod. This is the axis of your rod, right? So the forces which are along this axis are known as axial forces. And the diagram of these axial forces is known as axial force diagram. It is just like shear force diagram, nothing different. But the only thing is that it consists of only horizontal forces. In case of SFD, there are vertical forces. In case of axial force diagram, there are horizontal forces. Right? So that is what we will do. See, in this case, this force is at an angle. So it will have a vertical component and it will have a horizontal component. So we have to consider both in this case. Right, so I will draw this diagram. First of all, I will draw only the force diagram. So we have to take all these important points downwards. We'll take this point, this point, right? I have taken all the points downwards. Now leaving 4 lines over here, I will draw this diagram. Now in this, what will be the reaction forces? This will be RAY. This is reaction force of A due to Y. Similarly, there will be RAX. This will be reaction force at A in the X direction. Here there is what? 15 kilonewton. Now that 15 kilonewton will also be divided into two parts. This will be 15 sine 60 and this will be 15 cos 60. Over here we have 10 kilonewtons of force, right? I am just writing 10 right now. Okay, here then we have this 3 kilonewton per meter, and here we have 6 kilonewtons, right? I am just writing 6 right now. So considering all this, we first have to calculate, and here we have reaction at D also. No? Here, because it is a roller support, it will have only vertical force. It won't have a horizontal force. So now we can calculate the values of all these. First of all, we will find out the X and Y component of this 15 kilonewton force. So if the force is equal to 15, then F cos 60 will be 15 cos 60, and 15 cos 60 comes out to, just a minute, it comes out to 7.5. So we can write 7.5 over here. Similarly, we can find out f sine 60. It will be 15 sine 60. The value of that will be 15 into sine 60 is coming out 12.99. Okay, so we can assume it to be 13. Okay, 12.99, 13, it is very close together. So we can say that. So cos is over here 7.5, sine is over here, it is 13. Okay, these forces are done. Now we have to find out FD and we have to find FAX, FAY and FD, right? First of all, we can do summation Fx, right? Summation Fx is equal to 0. So what are the forces in x direction? First of all, we have assumed FAX in the right direction plus it will be 7.5, it will be 0. So value of FAX is how much? FAX is minus 7.5. It means 7.5 kilonewton in the left direction. So that is done. Next we have to find out what? Next we have to find out FAY and FD. So we can find out using our summation M formula, right? Summation M and summation Fy formula. So summation Fy is equal to what are the forces? First of all, there is FAY minus 13 minus 10. This is for 5 meters. So it will be minus 3 into 5 plus FD minus 6 is equal to 0. So this will be FAY plus FD is equal to 13 plus 10 plus 15 plus 6, which is coming out to be 28, 34, 44, right? So FAY plus FD is equal to 44. If I am correct, just I will check 29, 44, right? This will be my equation number 1. Similarly, what will be my equation number 2? It will be summation MA is equal to 0, right? So summation MA is equal to 0. What will be the calculation? Calculation will be, first of all, we won't consider the axial forces, right? Because axial forces are acting through this point, no? So no need to consider axial forces. So first of all, 13, we will write summation MA. So here for summation MA, we have to write all the forces. So those forces will be summation MA is equal to, first of all, see, axial forces will not be considered. We will be considering, because axial forces are acting through this point A, na? So no need to consider them. Only consider the other forces. So first of all, force is what? 13. So it is rotating it in clockwise direction, so minus. So minus 13 into 2 minus 10 into, 13 into 3, 13 into 3, distance is 3, minus 10 into 5 minus, we have uniformly distributed load, so 3 kilonewton per meter into 5 meters into what is the distance? It will be acting at the center, so 3 plus 2 plus 2.5, so it will be 7.5. So 7.5. Then what? Then we have minus 6 into 12, right? Minus 6 into 12, and we have plus FD into 10, right? All the other forces are acting downwards and rotating it in clockwise direction about the point A, whereas FD is rotating it in anti-clockwise direction, therefore plus for FD. Now if we calculate this value, we will have 10 FD on one side and we will have everything else on the other. 39 plus 50 plus 15 into 7.5, just give me a minute. 15 into 7.5 is 112.5 plus 72, which is coming out to be what? Which is coming out to be 39 plus 50 plus 112.5 plus 72, which is coming out to be 273.5. So 10 FD is 273.5. So FD will be what? FD will be 273.5 divided by 10, which will be 27.35 Newton. Now I can substitute this value in equation number 1, right? What am I going to get? I will get FAY is equal to 44 minus 27.35, and that will be 44 minus 27.35 is coming out to be 16.65 kilonewton. right? So we have both these forces, we have FD also, we have FAY also. Now that we have these forces, we can write these values over here. So FD is 27.35, FA is 16.65, so 16.65, and FAX is 7.5, but minus, because we have shown in the right side, I will write minus 7.5 kilonewton, or you can show on the left side and write 7.5 kilonewton. Anyway is fine. Okay. Now we can draw the axial force diagram, right? Just leave 8 lines, or rather 6 lines, however you want, and draw an axial force diagram, AFD. Okay, in AFD, what is going to happen? We will consider only the horizontal forces, right? Just as we do for SFT, same way we have to do for AFD. Just before A, okay, I will do over here. We are seeing this diagram. See, look at, okay, I will just draw this diagram again so that it is clear, and I will draw only the axial forces. Okay, here there is an axial force, here there is an axial force. This is minus 7.5 and this is 7.5. There are no other axial forces anywhere, right? So, axial force to the left of A is what? 0. To the left of A there is nothing, right? Then to the right of A, what are we getting? Axial force to the right of A will be what? Minus 7.5, right? So this will be minus 7.5 like this, right? I will just draw it with a red pen so that it is clear to you, right? I will just draw it with red. So minus 7.5, let us say this is 7.5. Okay, then again what will be axial force to the left of B? To the left of B, what is there? Still sirf minus 7.5. And axial force to the right of B, what is the value? Minus 7.5 plus 7.5, which comes out to 0, right? So here it is going from minus 7.5 to 0, and we can join it with a horizontal line. See, in axial forces it will be always horizontal line, don't worry. Axial force is very easy, so you can draw it like this. Okay, so I will just rub out the axial force calculations. It is very simple, right? Not much. Just like shear force diagram, same to same axial force diagram calculations. Just we have to consider only horizontal forces instead of vertical forces. And in axial force diagram, there will never be a uniformly distributed load or uniformly varying load. There will only be horizontal point loads. Okay, so I'll just rub this off. Okay, in exam, this should be shown. This also should be shown. You can write the direct values. You don't have to show this calculation. You can just write the direct values. What is to the left of A, what is to the right of A, what is to the left of B, what is to the right of B. Okay. So now we have to do what? We have to do shear force calculations. Now before I do shear force calculations, what am I going to do? I will make this dotted line longer. Okay. Just take this dotted line downwards for my SFD. We'll take it downwards, right? Over here I am drawing my SFD. Now to draw this SFD, I will have to do SFD calculations. Similarly, here it will be BMD. To draw the BMD, I will have to do BMD calculations. So for doing that, I will just copy this much part. Okay, I will, because in the exam it will, because the pages are side by side, you will be able to view this easily, but here I am not able to view this easily, no? So I am just copying all this part. Okay, sorry, I will just copy this part here and here. Okay, Control C, and I will just paste it over. Okay, so just a bit down. So here I can do my SFD BMD calculations. So by now you should know how to do SFD BMD calculations. In SFD we only consider the vertical forces, no consideration of horizontal forces. So the shear force to the left of A is always 0. Shear force to the right of A will be what? Plus 16.65. It will be plus 16.65. Then shear force to the left of B. What will be shear force to the left of B? Just 16.65. And shear force to the right of B. What will it be? Plus 16.65 minus 13. Right? So it will be how much? It will be 3.65. It will be 3.65. So shear force to the, this is B, this is C, this is D, and this is E. So shear force to the left of C. To the left of C it will be 3.65. Shear force to the right of C, it will be what? 16.65 minus 13 minus 10. It will be, I will just calculate 3.65 minus 10. It is coming out to be minus 6.35. Okay, then we will have shear force to the left of D. Now to the left of D we have to do calculation because there is uniformly distributed load. No? So shear force to the left of D will be what? It will be 16.65 minus 13 minus 10 minus 3 into 5. What is it coming out to be? 16.65 minus 13 minus 10 minus 15. It is coming out to be minus 21.35. Right? And shear force to the right of D, it will be minus 21.35 plus 27.35. Right? I have done all the calculations here, so I am not repeating it over here. I am just adding this 27.35. So it comes out to be positive 6. Then we have shear force to the left of E, which will be 6, and shear force to the right of E, which will be 6 minus 6. So 0. So we have got all the shear force calculations. Now we can do all the bending moment calculations, right? So what will be the bending moment at A? At A it will be 0 because there is no force to the left of A. Then we will have bending moment at B. Bending moment at B, we have to consider only the vertical forces, not the horizontal forces in this case, right? So considering only the vertical force, 16.65, and it is producing what? It is producing sagging. So it is positive. 16.65 into 3, which is how much? 16.65 into 3, which is 49.95. Right? So we have found out bending moment at B. Similarly, we can find out bending moment at C. What will be the bending moment at C? How can we find out bending moment at C? See, what are we going to do? There will be plus 16.65 into 5 minus 13 into 2. Right? So what will be the value? 16.65 into 3 minus 13 into 2, which is coming out to be 23.95 kilonewton meter. Okay, both are kilonewton meter, no? This is also kilonewton meter. Then we have to find out bending moment at D. Right, just a minute, I think, yes, I have made a mistake. It is 16.65 into 5, no? I have written 3 in calculation, sorry. It is coming out to be 57.25. Okay, extremely sorry. Here I made a mistake. In calculator I put 16.65 into 3. Okay, so here what are we getting? We are getting 57.25. Okay, then bending moment at D. Bending moment at D will be what? Plus 16.65 into at D. From D what is the distance? 3, 2 and 5. So 10. 16.65 into 10 minus 13 into 7 minus 10 into 5, and it will be minus 5 into 3 into 2.5. Why did I do this? Because 3 kilonewton per meter uniformly distributed load into 5 meters, and it is acting at the center of this, right? So 3 into 5 into 2.5. So what is the total value that I am getting? I will have to calculate 16.65 into 10 minus 13 into 7 minus 10 into 5 minus 5 into 3 into 2.5. 5. I am getting answer of minus 12. Okay, I am getting answer minus 12 kilonewton meter. Right. Now what I have to do? Last I have to do bending moment at E. Now we all know, because it is the last point, we can consider the forces to the right. Right. So bending moment at E will be what? Bending moment at E will be 0. So now that I have all the bending moments and all the shear forces, I can draw the shear force diagram and the bending moment diagram. Right. I will just change the pen color. Right. So here what I have to do, here I have to draw the shear force. So at A it is going from 0 to 16.65. So at A, okay, what is the first of all maximum value? Maximum value is coming out to be 21.35. So we can take each line as what? Each line as, let us say, 5 kilonewtons. Okay. So it will be 5, 10, 15, 20 kind of thing. So 5, 10, 15, 20, minus 5, minus 10, minus 15, minus 20. So at A what is happening? It is going from 0 to 16.65. So from 0 to 5, 10, 15, somewhere over here, right? This is shear force at A. Similarly, we have to calculate shear force at B. It is from 16.65 to 3.65. So from 16.65 to 3.65. This is shear force at B. Then we have shear force at C from 3.65 to minus 6.35. It is from 3.65 to minus 6.35. This is shear force at C. Then what is happening? Shear force at D from minus 21.35 to 6. So from minus 21.35, which will be somewhere around here, to plus 6. Okay, plus 6 will be somewhere around here. So I will draw this line at D. Then at E what is happening? Then at E it is going from 6 to 0. It is going from 6 to 0. Right? This also I have drawn. So now I have to connect it. Because there is no force in between A and B, I will connect it with a horizontal line. There is no force between B and C, I will connect it with a horizontal line. There is a uniform distributed load between C and D, so I will connect it with an inclined line. There is no load between D and E, so I will connect it with a horizontal line. Right? Done. So this part is positive, this part is negative. Now you will see an important thing. See, first of all, I will mark the BMD, then I will tell you the important thing. Okay, in BMD, what is the maximum value? Maximum value is 57.25. So nearly 60. So we can say that each line is 15 kilonewton meter, right? 15, 30, 45, 60. So 15, 30, 45, 60. This is 60, right? Similarly, minus 15, minus 30. Okay. So now what we have to do? We have to, at A it is 0. At A it is 0. At B it is what? 15, 30, 45, 49.95. Na? So somewhere around here, right? B. At C what is the value? At C it is 57.25. So here we have 57.25. At D what is the value? At D it is minus 12. At D it is minus 12. And at E it is 0. Okay. So first of all, we will, because there is no force between A and B, we will connect it with a slanting line, right? An inclined line. Then there is again no force between B and C, so for BMD, inclined. Now between C and D, there is a uniformly distributed load. So we will not draw it right now, just wait. Between D and E, no load, so we will draw it with a horizontal line. So now we have to draw a curve. Right? Which kind of a curve? Parabolic curve. It doesn't matter. Parabolic, cubic, doesn't matter. We have to draw a curve. But does the curve have a maximum value somewhere in between? How will we know where is the maximum value? So where will be the maximum value of bending moment? The maximum value of bending moment will be at the point where the shear force crosses the x-axis. Right? But the shear force is crossing the x-axis at this point only. So this will be the maximum value of bending moment. Right? So we don't have to worry. It is not going to go up because this is the maximum value of bending moment. Now, so it is going to go only downwards. So we can directly draw a curve like this. Okay, this can be the curve that we draw. So with this, our bending moment diagram is also done. This is plus, this is minus. This point is what? This point is known as the point of contraflexion. ठीक है, this point is what? This point is known as the point of contraflexion. So this is the point of contraflexion. What is happening over here? In this case, the bending moment is going from positive to negative, right? Bending moment is going from positive to negative. So at this point, this is the most dangerous point for the beam. This is where the maximum possibility of the beam failure is there. So we have to find out the location of this point so that we can reinforce this point. Otherwise, this will fail. So how can we find out the value of this point? Let us say that the location of this point is x. Okay, what is the condition? That bending moment over here is 0, right? So we can use the bending moment formula at this random point x. Where is this x point? This x point is between point C and D. So it is somewhere over here, right? So we can find out the bending moment over there. How can we find out the bending moment at this x point? I will show you. So bending moment at this x point will be what? First of all, there is this 16.65 which is positive. 16.65 into what is the distance? 3 plus 2 plus if we are calling this x, from where are we calling? What should be this distance? Let us say from here this much distance is x. Okay, from here this much distance is x. So what is the distance? 5 plus x. So this will be 5 plus x. Then what is the value of this force over here? 13. 13 will be minus 13 into, it will be 2 plus x. It will be 2 plus x. Then what is for this 10 kilonewton force? It will be what? It will be minus 10 into x, right? I have taken this much distance as x. So I can do these calculations. And then for this uniformly distributed load, I will be considering what? I will be considering only the uniform distributed load to the left of this x, right? I am considering only the uniformly distributed load to the left of this x. So what I will do? I will do minus 3 kilonewton per meter into how much distance? Into distance x, into what? Into what? X by 2, because it is uniformly distributed load now. So where will its center of gravity be? Its center of gravity will be at the center of this. So if this much is x, this center will be x by 2, right? So this is what we are going to do over here. And now all this value is equal to what? All this value is equal to 0. Because bending moment at the point of contraflexure is what? Bending moment at the point of contraflexure is 0. So now we can write this. So it will be in terms of x, but we can write 16 into 16.65 into 5 is 83.25. 83.25 plus 16.65x, right? This is the first, minus 26 plus 13x, right? Sorry, this is 13x, this is minus 10x, and this will be in terms of x square. So it will be 1.5 x square, right? So we can write this in quadratic form. What will be? First of all, I will just simplify it a bit. So 83.25 minus 26, 83.25 minus 26, it is coming out to be 57.25 plus what? 16.65. Okay, it will become minus plus 16.65x minus 13x minus 10x. It is what? Minus 6.35x and minus 1.5 x square is equal to 0, right? I can rewrite it as what? 1.5, sorry, I can rewrite it as 1.5 x square, 1.5 x square plus 6.35x minus 57.25 is equal to 0, right? Now I can put it in my calculator. Equation quadratic, 1.5 x square 6.35x minus 57.25 is equal to 0. The x value is coming out to be 4.41 and minus 8.64. Okay, it is coming out to be what? X value is coming out to be 4.41 or minus 8.65. Now it cannot be minus 8.65. No? Why it cannot be minus 8.65? How can this distance be more than 5? No? Right, minus 8.65 means it will go outside this. No? This total distance is 5. No? In the negative direction, if I have to move minus 8, I will go outside the beam. So I cannot use that minus 8. I have to use which one? I have to use 4.41. So over here it is what? This distance is 4.41 meters. Right? So I know the point of contraflexion. So where is the point of contraflexure? Point of contraflexure is 3 plus 2, 5 plus 4.41. So 9.91 meters from point A. It is what? It is 9.91 meters from point A. So point of 9.41, sorry, 9.41 contraflexure is equal to 9.41 meters, 9.41 meters from point A, right? So this is how you can solve this sum.